Final approach to land is a time for total concentration, ensuring the aircraft is configured correctly, maintaining that picture out of the window, cross-checking your airspeed, height and aircraft attitude are all super important. But watching for golf balls? Now that's not on many pilots' checklists. Join me today as we take a good look at the little strip of Graveley. Welcome to Shortfield, a channel all about the lighter side of aviation. And these days, it seems that everyone is landing on golf courses, usually because they have to.
This morning, a small plane had to make an emergency landing at the Bellport Country Club.
Tracker 7 over an emergency landing. The pilot of this small plane forced to touch down on a local golf course.
Well, this is something you don't see every day. An airplane on a golf course.
The emergency move, a pilot successfully turned a fairway into a runway after...
Oh, and I nearly forgot about him.
I didn't know you could fly a plane!
Why, yes! Land? No!
This time we are visiting an unusual little strip partially based on a golf course, which could be confused as part of the fairway, and we are doing it out of choice. So buckle up, because here we go, and if you watch to the very end of the video, I'll show you how not to do it. Graveley is a small grass strip set at the foot of the Chesfield Downs Golf and Country Club's 4th fairway. It is just half a mile from the beautiful little village of Graveley and 2 miles to the north of Stevenage and 3 miles to the southeast of Hitchin in Hertfordshire. Graveley Airstrip is unlicensed and is marked on the charts as a microlight strip, but the owner will accept pilots with short field experience in aircraft that have good stall performance and are not too noisy. The airfield is strictly PPR and permission by phone is required before visiting. Graveley is located inside of Luton's controlled airspace and requires clearance from them before entering the zone. The strip boasts a single grass runway orientated 0119 at 500 metres long and a windsock located near to the hangars around 150 metres from the start of runway 19. There is a concrete path crossing the runway around 100 metres from the start of 19, but the transition is very good and this is not a public footpath. There are tall trees and buildings very close to the threshold of 01.
Luton radar, good afternoon. Golf November Juliet Charlie Zulu for zone entry.
Golf November Juliet Charlie Zulu Luton, hello, squawk 4671. QNH 1021 hectopascals, passing message.
1021 and 4671 on the squawk. Golf November Juliet Charlie Zulu's a sport cruiser from North Weald en route to Graverley. Currently 6 miles to the west of Puckeridge at 1,900 feet, 1021 VFR, and like a zone entry for Graveley, please.
Golf November Juliet Charlie Zulu, Roger, identified basic service, clear to enter to Graveley, not above altitude 2,000 feet VFR.
Clear to enter for Graveley, not above 2,000 feet VFR, and is a basic service. Golf November Juliet Charlie Zulu.
The approach starts with a call to Luton radar at least 5 miles or 5 minutes before entry to the zone is required. If approaching from the east or the north and Luton are using their runway 25, then any clearance to enter will generally be given with a maximum altitude restriction of 1,000 feet. If they are using the easterly runway, you can usually expect a higher clearance. Luton radar may authorise zone crossings from the west or the south, but this will require a more complex interaction with them. Approaching from the northeast is the recommended entry and results in minimal time in controlled airspace and a lower workload for the controllers.
Golf Charlie Zulu radar control service, surface wind at Luton 060 degrees 6 knots.
Golf Charlie Zulu radar control and just entering the low overhead at Graveley.
Roger.
Upon confirmed clearance and entry, you will be under a radar control service, so enter the zone and head directly for the overhead. Whilst in the Luton zone, you must remain east of the A1 and north of the pylons to the south of the strip at all times, unless permission is granted from Luton radar to transit the zone. Approaching the overhead, take a look at the windsock and determine your landing direction. Today we are choosing runway 19. All circuits are 830 feet on the QNH and are to the east. There is no dead side, so it's a tight turn overhead, which also serves to warn golfers that an aircraft is going to land, then back out on crosswind with a left turn onto downwind, keeping a good picture of the airfield out of the left window. There is a marked slope to the approach of 19, and as you track downwind you will notice the ground rising to meet you. I use the golf clubhouse at the top of the rising ground to line up with, and when I'm level with it, I turn onto base leg. Keeping the runway in sight is quite easy, just follow the golf fairway south and it merges into the runway. Turning final, Luton will usually give you a wind check, although this is at their airport some 7 miles away, so don't take too much notice of it, just try and look at that windsock. They will often say goodbye to you here, but you will need to keep in any assigned squawk until you're on the ground, in case you go around. Final for 19 is one of the coolest approaches. With the sloping ground you run very low over the golf course and down the 4th fairway. I was concerned about golf balls hitting me, but I'm assured no aircraft has ever been hit by one, and the golfers are briefed about stopping playing when an aircraft is approaching or departing. The field has a short section around 100 metres actually within the golf course, which has a path across it, and I aim to land on this section. A firm touchdown is required, and on a nice day with light winds it's all pretty straightforward. There's limited parking for visitors at Graveley, so you need to ensure you leave your aircraft clear of the active runway. If you intend on staying for an extended visit, you will need to get prior permission from the owner, as parking may not be possible. There's a small green porter cabin at the southern end of the strip where you're obliged to complete the movements book. If you fancy a walk into Graveley village, you'll find 2 gastropubs, the George and Dragon and the Wagon and Horses, right next door to each other and less than a 10-minute walk from the field. During the summer season there's also lots to do right next to the airfield. There's a pick your own fruit farm, a small cafe and a crazy golf course, but please check that they are open first if you intend on visiting them. If you like to play golf, you are totally spoilt, as the beautiful Chesfield Downs golf course accepts non-members, and with just a green fee to pay you can be teeing off in less than no time.
Revs are okay, T's and P's are okay, SP's alive.
There's no need to speak to Luton on departure, although you should set a squawk of 7010 on the ground and tune into them and maintain a listening watch in case you need to stay in the controlled airspace for any extended period or they need to contact you. Make your blind calls on safety comm when taxiing out and departing. Departing from 01 is pretty straightforward, and with the climb out over the golf course it can be as spectacular as the approach. By making a 20-degree right turn you can exit controlled airspace via the northeast. Again, there's no need to speak to Luton on departure, although you still need to set your transponder to 7010 and keep them tuned in for a listening watch. Again, make all your blind calls on safety comm when taxiing out and departing. When leaving via 19, you should backtrack past the small concrete path and line up at the threshold. When climbing out, you need to start turning left as soon as you become airborne and at a safe airspeed to avoid the tall trees and from overflying the church and the houses, and to leave Luton's controlled airspace as soon as possible via the northeast. So that does it for this episode. Graveley is definitely one of those more unusual sighted strips in the UK. But I wonder, do you know any others that are on golf courses or in an unusual or different setting? Please pop your comments in the section below. I'd love to hear about them and your experiences or recommendations, or if you'd like me to check out any other airfields, please let me know, and I read every comment. Thank you so much for watching, and if you'd like to see more videos like this, please consider subscribing and hit the notification bell so I can let you know next time I upload a video. Fly safe guys, hopefully you found this video helpful, but please note I am not an instructor. This is all based on my personal experience as a private pilot in the UK. Please check all the latest details for this airfield in your favourite flight guide, as things may have changed since this video was recorded. Shortfield out. Okay, so here's the little extra I promised. I had a go at this in Flight Simulator and it was a total disaster.